What is going on, Colts Nation? Welcome back to another episode of Bring the Juice. Guys, just want to do a quick video here for you on some of the most anticipated games of the 2023 NFL season for the Indianapolis Colts. You know, we had the season schedule drop last week, earlier this week, I guess I should say. And people have been, talking about it, trying to decipher all of this, and I think it's cool if we kind of just talked a little bit about some of the games that are the biggest talking points for the Colts this year. And of course, one of the big things was that there were no primetime games for the Indianapolis Colts this year because of obviously last year we got 4 of them and we ended up doing terribly. So, not a surprise that the Indianapolis Colts did not get any primetime games this year. But at the end of the day, there are still some games here that are going to be very interesting. I think the one that everyone was wanting to watch is the game against Carolina. So for a couple different reasons. One, and for the obvious reason, is that Frank Reich is the head coach of the Carolina Panthers, former Indianapolis Colt coach, so head coach. So it's gonna be a fun storyline to follow when it comes to those two teams because of obviously the circumstances that it follows. New head coaches this year. And then the other reason being is, it's the battle of the rookie quarterbacks, right? Bryce Young versus Anthony Richardson. How do those two handle this sort of situation, knowing the circumstances that are behind this game? That's the biggest one. And obviously that's going to be the one I'm looking forward to the most. Be sure in the comments to let me know what you guys have for your most anticipated game. What are you guys looking the most forward to? And then you have to look at just the next week. And week 10, the Indianapolis Colts will be playing the Patriots in Germany. It'll be the first international game that the Indianapolis Colts have ever had. And, we get a chance to finally see Indy outside of the U.S. playing against a different team. And regardless of, anything, it's going to be fun because, there's a lot of international fans that are going to be ready for this. And the international games have become a big deal. So I really enjoy watching those. It's going to stink waking up at 9:30 in the morning to cover the game, but we're going to do our best. That's going to be one of the more anticipated ones, I believe, because just the understanding of it being an international game. It's one of the few international games that are out there, and Indy gets its shot finally. And then a couple games for Colts fans' perspectives is wanting to know how the Indianapolis Colts will do against Jacksonville in week 6. They're going to be at Jacksonville again, week 6. And, we talked about it in another episode, talking about how the Indianapolis Colts for the better part of a decade have not beaten Jacksonville in Jacksonville. And, for the longest time, Indy was the better team than Jacksonville for pretty much all of those seasons, all except maybe 2. And this year, and the Colts still haven't been able to do it. And do the Colts find a way to break the curse this year with Shane Steichen as the head coach now? Do the Colts come into this better prepared than they have in years past? And thankfully, it won't be week 1 that they're facing Jacksonville in Jacksonville. They will be facing Jacksonville week 1, but that will be at home. So that's going to be a little bit of a help. But they do have a couple weeks to get it down. But, looking at the rest of these, there's a lot of games in here that are very anticlimactic, right? And a couple games that are really going to be fun to watch if you're a football fan because, now we're facing the Texans, right, this year, who have a legitimate quarterback, right? The quarterback that everyone was talking about with Indianapolis wanting to get in C.J. Stroud. So how do the Texans look this year with CJ Stroud and this new roster that they have put together, which is drastically improved. You got a couple of easier opponents at the end of the year that you deem the Buccaneers, the Falcons, and the Steelers are going to be hot, so how do the Colts handle the end of their schedule? Because if they do really well at the beginning of their schedule, there's a possibility of seeing them, do something pretty awesome. So we'll have to see just how that works. But give me 1 second here, guys. Anyway, so yeah, and the Steelers one is another one that everyone's going to talk about. Again, the Colts just don't beat the Steelers very often, which kind of sucks. But there will be, and also, by the way, there are 2 games where Indy might have a chance to get a slotted primetime game, depending on how they look at the end of the year, with the Steelers on December 17th, day before my birthday, and the Texans at the end of the year. That one's going to be determined, but I don't think that it's going to end up being a prime time for the Texans one. But I could definitely see the Steelers maybe getting that slot, because we know the Steelers get a couple, and that could be an interesting game. Another game that I think will be fun if you're a fan is the Colts versus the Bengals. You're going to be facing the Bengals late in the year in a hostile environment. It's going to be cold. How do the Colts handle one of the best teams in the AFC and go into that environment? How do they play? That's going to be a big indicator of where the Colts are at the end of the year when they face a team like that. So that's going to do it for this one, guys. Again, it's a short video, just kind of talking about highly anticipated games for this year for the Indianapolis Colts. Again, let me know your thoughts if you made it already here, how far you're willing to go and what games you're looking forward to. That's going to do it for this one, guys. Thank you so much for tuning in. And as always, go Colts.